Hi everyone, hope you all are good. We are here for grade 10 math. You can find all the lessons on aplusstudents.com. You have to log in there using your email address and password as provided by the administrator. Then you have to select math from the subject tab. Scroll down to grade 10 and then click on view all lessons. So there you can find a list of the chapters. We're going to start with the chapter on logic. The lessons we're going to cover today are identify hypotheses and conclusions, counterexamples, conditionals, and negations. So let's just start with the first example, that is identify hypotheses and conclusions. What is the conclusion in the conditional statement? If a quadrilateral has no right angles, then this is not a rectangle, right? So the sentence has two parts, if part and then part, right? If a quadrilateral has no right angles, then it is not a rectangle. So basically, you have to make a conclusion from the part A and B, that is, the quadrilateral is not a rectangle, right? The quadrilateral is not a rectangle. Okay, the next example is what is the hypothesis in the conditional statement? The conditional statement is if 7y minus 5 equals 9, then y equals 2, right? You have to see what is the conditional statement. Conditional statement is a one on which you have the condition, right? That is if 7y minus 5. Hypothesis is A, that is 7y minus 5, right? What is the hypothesis in the given and the conditional statement? If Rita studies very little, then she gets poor grade. So the conditional statement is if Rita studies very little, then she gets poor grades. The hypothesis is A, if part is the hypothesis, right? Let's just start with the test questions. Okay, what is the hypothesis in the conditional statement? If 7y minus 5 equals 9, then y equals 2. So the conditional statement is 7y minus 5 equals 9. Got it? The hypothesis is 7y minus 5. Basically, the if part is the hypothesis, right? The one that is right after if is the hypothesis, and Q is the like then part is the conclusion. You are given if and then, right? So if part, the one right after if is if A, then B. A is the hypothesis and B is the conclusion, right? So hypothesis is 7y minus 5 equals 9. Option number 1 is the correct option. Okay, the next one is what is the hypothesis in the conditional statement? If Jenny is serving an apple pie, then she is serving a dessert. So which is the correct option? I have just told you The if part is the hypothesis, and the one that is after then is the conclusion. You have to see what is the hypothesis. So hypothesis is Jenny is serving an apple pie. Got it? Option number one is the correct option. Jenny is serving an apple pie is the hypothesis. Got it? The next one is what is the conclusion in the given in this conditional statement? Okay, if a quadrilateral has if a quadrilateral has no right angle, then this is not a rectangle. You have to see the conclusion, right? So the conclusion is then part is the conclusion, right? Then is it is not a rectangle, right? So the quadrilateral is not a rectangle. Got it? The correct option is option number one. That is the quadrilateral is not a rectangle. That is the conclusion, right? What is the conclusion in the given statement? If her child is an infant, then it sleeps in a crib. So, which is the correct option? You have to see the conclusion, right? Then the conclusion is the one that is after then, right? So that means her child sleeps in a crib is a conclusion. The correct option is her child sleeps in a crib. That is the conclusion. What is the hypothesis in the conditional statement? Which is the correct option? Yes, that is the animal lives on land is the hypothesis. Option number two is the correct option, right? That is the hypothesis. What is the hypothesis in the conditional statement? If a shape has three sides, then this is a triangle. So, which is the correct option? The statement after if is the hypothesis, right? So, that is the shape has three sides is the hypothesis. Option 2 is the correct option. What is the conclusion in the conditional statement? If a right angle, if a right triangle has sides with 3 and 5, then its hypothesis measures 5. Sorry, then its hypotenuse measures 5. The conclusion of the conditional statement is the part that is after then, right? So that is right triangle's hypotenuse measures 5. Got it? The right triangle's hypotenuse measures the 5. The second one is the correct option. Got it? Okay, you can complete the lesson by yourself later today. Let me just move on to next lesson, right? The next lesson is counter examples. Let's just start with the next example, that is counter examples. Okay, what is the following? Which of the following is a counter example for the conditional statement, right? Okay, the statement is if a number is perfect square, then it is odd, right? So the conditional statement has the part if A then B. If is a number is perfect square and B is it is odd, right? So you have to look for the counter example that makes the hypothesis true and the conclusion false. Like hypothesis must be true and the conclusion is false, right? Start with the 2, right? For the 2, the hypothesis is false because 2 is not the perfect square, right? For 2, hypothesis is false because 2 is not a perfect square. For 25, 25 hypothesis is true because 25 is a perfect square. And conclusion is also true because 25 is odd, right? Basically, the correct option is 25. Now, you have to select the one for which the hypothesis is true and the conclusion is false. That is the counter example, right? 8. For the 8, hypothesis is false. That is not the perfect square, right? And now for 16, hypothesis is true. That is a perfect square, right? And conclusion is false. 16 is not an odd number, right? So that means the correct option is 16. 16 is the counter example. Got it? That is the one for which the hypothesis is true and conclusion is false. Got it? So counter example means if you are looking for the counter example is the one that makes the hypothesis true and the conclusion false, right? Let's just start with the test questions. What is the counter example for the conditional statement? If a sport involves hitting a ball, then it requires a racket, right? So you have counter example is the one for which the hypothesis. Okay, can you hear me now? Okay, so we were working on the counter examples, right? Counter example means the hypothesis must be true and the condition is the conclusion is false, right? So the one we're working on is which of the following example is a counter example of the conditional statement, and the conditional statement is if a pet is a small, then it is a kitten, right? So counter example means the hypothesis must be true and the uh, conclusion is false, right? Pet is small, but it is not a kitten, right? So let's just see which is the correct example. A kitten, a hamster, a golden retriever, a pony. So a pet is a small. For the pony, the hypothesis is false. Pony is not a pet, right? Then for the kitten, the hypothesis is true. The pet is small and the conclusion is also true. It is a kitten, right? For the next one, a hamster, the hypothesis is true. If a pet is a small, right? But the conclusion is false. It is not a kitten. So the correct option is a hamster, right? Because the hamster is a pet. For the hamster, the hypothesis is true, but the conclusion is false. So the correct option is a hamster, right? Okay, the next one is which of the following is a counter example for the conditional statement? If a number is odd, then it is spelled with the letter N. Okay, the first example is 45. 45 is odd, right? But the conclusion is false because it is not spelled with Y, right? The correct option is 45 because the 45 is the number that is not odd and that is odd and it is not spelled with the letter N. Got it? Which of the following is a counter example for the conditional statement? If a vehicle has four wheels, then it is a car. So, which is the correct option? For the motorcycle, the hypothesis is false. For the truck, the hypothesis is true, but this is not a car. So, the correct option is truck because truck has four wheels, but this isn't a car. So, the correct option is truck. Got it? Which of the following is a counterexample for the conditional statement? If an animal lives in the water, then it has scales. So, which animal live? Dolphin lives in water and it has dolphin do not have scales, right? So, the correct option is dolphin because dolphin lives in water. Hypothesis is true and it has not it has no scales. That is conclusion is false. So, the correct option is dolphin, right? The correct option is dolphin. Okay, the next example is which of the following is a counterexample for the conditional statement? If a number squared equals 9, then the number is 3. So which is the correct option? The correct option is negative 3, right? Because if you square negative 3, The correct option is 9. That means hypothesis is true, but the number is not 3. So for the counter example, hypothesis must be true and the conditional is condition is not true, right? Okay, you can complete the lesson by yourself later today. Let me just move on to next lesson. The next lesson is conditionals. If the following conditional true, if s is less than 1, then s is less than equal to 1. If s is less than 1, s is less than 1, then s is less than equal to 1. The conditional is true, right? Because s is less than 1, right? Less than or equal to 1. So that is true. The correct option is true. Let's just start with the test questions. If f is greater than equal to 5, then f is greater than 1. Is it true? Yes, it is true. Because f is greater than equal to 5 and also f is greater than 1. The correct option is true, it is because f is greater than equal to 5, then f is greater than 1. If the following conditional true, is the following conditional true? If r is less than equal to 8, then r is less than equal to 6. False it is, right? Because if you have r is less than 6, equal to 6, but here you have r is less than equal to 8, where is 7 and 8, right? In this one, you are just restricted to 6. So that is no. The conditional is the following conditional true? No. The correct option is no. Got it? If a polygon has more than 3 sides, then it is a quadrilateral. Which is the correct option? The correct option is yes. If a polygon has more than 3 sides, then it is quadrilateral. The correct option is the correct option is yes. If a polygon has more than 3 sides, then it is a quadrilateral. The correct option is yes, it is true. No, if a polygon has more than 3 sides, then this is a the conditional is false because a pentagon is a counter example. Quadrilateral must have 4 sides, right? So polygon more than 3 means 5 is also involved. Yes, that is a counter example. The correct option is the following conditional true? If the number is not divisible by 4, then it is not divisible by 2. Which is the correct option? If a number is not divisible by 4, yes. The correct option is yes. Hmm? Oh, I see. The conditional is false because 2 is the number that is not divisible by 4 but is divisible by 2, right? False, it is not true. Got it? Okay, the next one is if is the following conditional true? If b is less than 3, then b is less than equal to 8. True it is, right? The correct option is yes. If d is less than equal to 4, then d is less than 8. Which is the correct option? The correct option is true it is, right? Because d is less than 4, that means that is also less than 8. The correct option is true. Okay, the next one is if the following conditional true. If a quadrilateral has all angle congruent, then it is a square. Which is the correct option? If a quadrilateral has all angles congruent, then it is a square. I think true it is. The correct option is yes. No, the conditional is false because a rectangle has all angles congruent and is not necessarily a square. Okay, let's just start with the next lesson. The next lesson is negations. Negation means the negative of every sentence. What is the negation of the following inequality? That is, negative s is greater than equal to negative 3. So the given inequality means negative s is greater than or equal to negative 3, right? So the negation of the inequality is negative s is not greater than. Like you just have to put not in the inequality, right? Negation means you need to put not, right? So that is negative s is less than negative 3. Let's just start with the test questions. Okay, what is the negation of the following inequality? The inequality is f is less than equal to 6, right? So the negation means f is not less than equal to 6, right? That means then f is greater than 6. Got it? Negation means the not of the expression. So f is the inequality is f is less than equal to 6. The negation means f is not less than equal to 6. So it would be f is greater than 6. The second option is the correct option. Okay, the next one is what is the negation of the following inequality? Y is greater than 5. The negation is y is not greater than 5, right? And not greater than 5 means the none 5 y is less than 5. Got it? The correct option is y is less than 5. That is option number 1. Y is less than and equal to 5. What is the negation of the following inequality? Which is the correct option? Y is greater than equal to 4, right? Negation means you need to add a not. So it is W is not greater than equal to 4, right? So when it is not greater than equal to 4, then they are less than 4. So the correct option is W is less than 4. What is the negation of the following inequality? Negative D is greater than equal to negative 8. Yes, that is D. Negative D is less than negative 8 is the correct one. Very good. What is the negation of the following inequality? M is less than 6. Yes, very good. That means M is greater than equal to 6. N is less than 9. So that means N is greater than equal to 9 is the negation. That is N is greater than equal to 9. What is the negation of the following inequality? Negative f is less than equal to negative 7. The correct option is option number 1 is the correct option, right? Okay, the next one is what is the negation of the following inequality? The correct option is negative s is less than negative 3 is the correct option. Got it? Okay, we are done with the lesson. So we were working on grade 10 math. The chapter we're working on is logic. The lessons we have covered today are identify hypotheses and conclusions, counter examples, conditionals, and negations. So please make sure before the next session you can complete all the practice questions for the lessons we did today. That is your homework until next session, right? So if you need more help with any of the lesson, you can contact any tutor on the Skype. They are available from Monday to Friday 5 to 9. Or either you can join me in the interactive session that will be daily from 4 to 5 and from 9 to 10. So if you have any question, you can please write down the question in the chat box. I'm here to answer all your questions and confusions if you have any. So please write down the question in the chat box. No question. No questions.